Western Conference Finals, Game 3, Oklahoma City Thunder at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Game 3 reaction. I guess this could act kind of as like a Game 4 preview, Game 3 reaction. I know Game 3 was 2 days ago. But by the time I tuned in, the Wolves had ran away with it. So I just waited for a replay to come up, and I finally got a chance this morning to watch a clear replay. And yeah, it was over. It was over before I tuned in, because I tuned in somewhere in like midway through the second, and OKC was trying to make it competitive. But yeah, I just was like, wow, what happened? How did this game start? So I got a chance to watch the replay. First quarter definitely tells the entire story of this game. I was listening to somebody talk the other day, and they brought something up. In generations past, teams that were favored to win the title didn't get blown out by 30 and 40 points, because the final score for Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, Oklahoma City Thunder versus Minnesota Timberwolves, ended up being 101 for Oklahoma and 143 for Minnesota. So, yeah, that's a blowout. You lost by 40-something points. And listen, I'm like, yeah, that's true. In generations past, I don't remember title favorites, even on the road, getting blown out by 25, 30 points. But hey, this new generation of basketball, we're all sitting for it anyway. So let me talk about some of the game notes I took just in the first quarter, because this game was definitely over in the first quarter. The Wolves came out. They put McDaniels right on SGA. I think they had been doing that. But what they did was, what McDaniels did, and I guess what the coaching staff tried to pay attention to, they kept McDaniels in like a pseudo kind of drop back coverage, kind of daring SGA to lead with a three. And that's not SGA's game. He's going to try to drive. So he's not, he wasn't taking that space, and it was kind of getting him to give the ball up. And then another thing the Wolves committed to, behind McDaniels, hard double team either side that SGA is trying to drive to on, well, not even a double team. In some spots, it was a triple team with Gobert and Anthony Edwards helping on both sides. They forced SGA to give the ball up in the first quarter. The ball swings around and making other OKC players try to beat them. Now, Hartenstein, I think he started out with 2 layups, or Florida in a layup, to open the game. But early in the third, he had a live ball turnover in like a pick and roll after they got SGA to give the ball up. And it was just bad. Rudy Gobert came out paying attention to details. In the first quarter alone, Rudy Gobert had 2 steals. I'm going to stop and say that again. In the first quarter of this game, Rudy Gobert, some of the worst hands we've seen in the NBA, he had 2 steals in pick and roll. He was not letting them get past him. Rudy was locked in. Every time they got a stop or they forced a live ball turnover, OKC tried to turn it into points. It was 13-7 with 7:12 left in the first quarter. And the first quarter, listen to what I just said. It was 13-7 with 7 minutes and 12 seconds left in the first quarter. And the first quarter ends 34-14. Tell you, off of Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards gets fouled at the end after an 8-second violation by OKC and goes to the free throw line. And that's another thing they did. They got them to get an 8 seconds violation with like their last possession in the quarter, just because they kind of weren't paying attention to the situation. I don't think they were they kind of weren't paying attention to the situation. Dante had taken some time off the clock. In spots where they couldn't get a hard double team on SGA, they sent the defender early and picks him up early above the three, gets him out of the play quick. The Wolves were knocking down their threes. Another thing too, when SGA was driving to his right, strong hand drives, it was a triple team. He drives to his right, he drives right into help defense with Gobert hanging back, and they're making them pass the ball for others to try and beat them. In the first quarter, Anthony Edwards was 3 of 5 on 3-point attempts. I think he ended the first quarter with like 16 or 17 points. Julius Randle opened the game up. I think he had 2 straight baskets. His patented 15 to 18-foot fadeaways. I think he had 2 of those to open the first quarter up. Yeah, and the first quarter just ended up getting away from them. Like I said, after the first quarter, the final score was 34-14. They just did a good job of making sure SGA would not be the one to beat them. And that makes OKC predictable. Jalen Williams, he tried to make certain plays, tried to hit certain jump shots, but it just became apparent if we stop SGA, it's easier to pick all these other guys up in rotations. And that's what the Wolves made sure that this pack of Wolves made sure they did. We're going to get the ball out of SGA's hands, and then we're going to rotate. Julius had like a lazy rotation, and I think he ended up giving up a three to Chet. But times that Julius wasn't in that point of the action, even though he did help in certain double teams, but maybe not have to rotate back out to the three. Times it was Anthony Edwards rotating, or Gobert rotating, or somebody else rotating. Yeah, they got OKC to shoot some bad shots. So let's see what happens with Game 4. Game 4 is tonight. I think it starts at 7 or 8 o'clock. Like and subscribe for more content. Table Talk, man. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.